The ballroom of the Sterling Manor was decorated with white lilies and Swarovski crystals, the perfect setting for the reading of the will of the tycoon Robert Sterling. In the center of the room, holding a glass of champagne, stood his only daughter, Victoria. She wore a haute couture dress and a triumphant smile, certain she would inherit the $1 billion empire. But her smile vanished when the door opened and a simple woman wearing modest clothes walked in holding the hand of a 5-year-old boy. It was Anna, the former nanny, and the boy was Lucas. Before we find out why the presence of this nanny caused such panic in the heiress, I have a quick question for you. Have you ever been judged unfairly by someone who had more power than you? Tell your story in the comments and let me know which city you are watching from. If you love stories where the truth defeats arrogance, hit the subscribe button right now. Join our family and let's unmask the lies together. Now, back to the manor. Victoria felt her blood boil. She had fired Diana 5 years ago on the night the baby was born. To society, Victoria claimed the boy had died during childbirth. In reality, she had rejected the child for being born with a slight leg disability, something she considered imperfect for her influencer image. She handed the baby to the nanny and ordered them to disappear, promising an allowance she never paid. Now, seeing the boy healthy and strong walking into her house, Victoria felt fear. Not a mother's fear, but the fear of losing money. If her father, the late Mr. Sterling, knew his grandson was alive, the will could change. She marched over to Anna, her heels clicking on the marble floor like gunshots. The silence in the room was absolute. Lawyers and guests watched the scene with morbid curiosity. "What are you doing here, you thief?" Victoria screamed, pointing a finger in Anna's face. "Security! Get this woman out of here! She is trespassing on my property." Anna didn't back down. She held Lucas's hand tighter. The boy, scared by the shouting, hid behind the nanny's legs. "We were invited," Victoria said, with a calm but firm voice. "Mr. Sterling's lawyer called us." Victoria laughed, a shrill, nervous sound. "Invited? My father hated poor people. He would never invite the maid to the reading of the will. You must have forged the invitation. And who is this dirty child?" She knew exactly who he was, but she needed to maintain the lie. "That child is not yours," she yelled, trying to flip the script. "You stole him from somewhere to try and scam us." The accusation was grave. "Kidnapper," Victoria continued, looking at the guests for support. "She brought a random child to try and get money from a grieving family. Call the police now. I want this woman arrested." The security guard started to approach, but the head lawyer, Mr. Mendez, raised his hand, demanding calm. "Ms. Victoria, please sit down," said Mr. Mendez, adjusting his glasses. "Ms. Anna is here under my strict orders, and the child is a fundamental part of this meeting." Victoria went pale. "This is absurd. I am the only heir. My father had no other children." She trembled with rage, feeling control slipping through her manicured fingers. Anna looked at Victoria with a mixture of pity and contempt. She remembered that rainy night 5 years ago when Victoria threw the newborn into her arms, saying, "Take this thing away. He will ruin my body and my career." Anna had raised Lucas with all the love Victoria denied, working 2 jobs to pay for his leg surgeries. "You say the child isn't mine," Anna began, her voice gaining strength in the silent hall. "And biologically, you are right, Victoria. I didn't give birth to him. But I cured his fevers. I taught him to walk when the doctors said it would be hard. I am the mother he knows." Victoria scoffed, crossing her arms. "That is pathetic. A cheap emotional speech won't get you a dime. DNA is what matters. And this boy has nothing to do with this family. Look at him. He is wearing clearance rack clothes." She insulted her own son without remorse, blinded by greed. Lucas looked at the blonde woman and whimpered in fear. "I want a DNA test." Victoria demanded, thinking she was delivering a check. She was sure her father never knew about the grandson's existence, so the test would only prove Anna was a stranger. She thought Anna was bluffing. "Let's do the test now, and when it comes back negative for kinship with my father, I will sue you for extortion." Mr. Mendez cleared his throat. He opened a thick leather folder on the table. "That won't be necessary, Victoria." Mr. Sterling knew everything. The color drained from Victoria's face. "Everything? What do you mean by everything?" The lawyer pulled out an envelope sealed with red wax. "Your father hired private investigators 3 years ago. He watched Anna and Lucas the entire time." Victoria felt her legs go weak. Her father knew. He knew she had abandoned her son. But why didn't he say anything? Why did he keep paying her bills and letting her live in the manor? He knew and did nothing, she whispered. That means he didn't care. He loved me more. Not exactly, said Anna, stepping forward. She pulled a small, old digital recorder from her bag. Your father came to visit us, Fictera, many times. He went to the park to watch Lucas play. He introduced himself as Uncle Bob. Lucas loved him. Victoria looked at the boy. You knew my father. Lucas nodded shyly. Grandpa Bob gave me my blue car, the boy said. The word grandpa hit Victoria like a punch to the gut. Her father had a secret life with a grandson she discarded. The betrayal felt unbearable to her ego. This is a lie. You manipulated a lonely old man. Enough, said Mr. Mendez, his authoritative voice echoing off the stone walls. Let us read the will. Mr. Sterling's wish is sovereign and final. He broke the seal of the envelope. Victoria sat on the edge of her chair, nails digging into the velvet upholstery. She prayed that, despite everything, blood would speak louder. The lawyer began to read. I, Robert Sterling, being of sound mind, declared that my greatest sadness in life was seeing the coldness in the heart of my daughter, Victoria. I tried to teach her values, but I failed. Money corrupted her. Victoria held her breath. This didn't sound good. I discovered 3 years ago that I have a grandson, Lucas, who was discarded like trash for not being perfect. I watched him grow from afar and, later, up close. I saw in him the kindness that is missing in my daughter. I saw in the woman who raised him, Aina, the dignity that money cannot buy. Victoria stood up, screaming. He was senile. I will contest this. She brainwashed him. The lawyer continued, raising his voice. Therefore, I make the following irrevocable decision regarding my estate. Valued at $500 million to my daughter Victoria, I leave the sum of $50,000, conditioned upon her mandatory participation in 500 hours of community service at an orphanage. I want her to see what happens to children who have no one. The room gasped. $50,000 was nothing to Victoria. It wouldn't even cover her handbags. It was misery. And to my grandson, Lucas, I leave the totality of my shares, real estate, and bank accounts. Victoria screamed in horror. He is a child. He can't inherit. The lawyer raised his hand. Since Lucas is a minor, I appoint a legal guardian to manage the fortune and custody of the child until he turns 21. Victoria smiled, thinking that perhaps, as a biological mother, she could reclaim custody and control the money. I am the mother. Custody is mine, by right. I made a mistake, but I can change. I will take care of him. She ran to try and hug Lucas, but the boy recoiled, terrified of the strange woman. Anna stepped in front of the boy, like a lioness protecting her cub. You will not touch him, Anna said quietly. The lawyer continued reading. Knowing that my daughter would try to claim custody for the money. I register here the document of full adoption that I finalized a month before I died. The silence in the room was deafening. Full adoption, Victoria whispered. Not understanding the legal term, the lawyer explained, with a slight smile of satisfaction. Mr. Sterling legally adopted Lucas as his son. Legally, Lucas is no longer your son, Victoria. He is your brother. The shock was total. By adopting the grandson, the grandfather severed any legal tie Victoria had with the child. She was no longer the mother. She was the disinherited older sister. And as legal guardian of my son Lucas, read the lawyer, I appoint the only mother he has ever known, Anna Silva. Victoria fell to her knees on the floor. She had lost everything. The money, the mansion, the status, and the son. Anna, the nanny she humiliated and fired without pay, was now the controller of the entire Sterling empire. The irony was brutal and absolute. This can't be happening, Victoria sobbed, her makeup smearing. I am a Sterling. I don't know how to work. I don't know how to live on 50,000. Anna looked at the woman on the floor. She felt no pleasure in revenge, only relief that Lucas was safe. Anna took the envelope from the lawyer's hands. Inside, there was also a personal letter for her. It read, Anna, use this money to give the world the love my daughter did not, buy the house you dreamed of. And please, do not let Victoria destroy the boy's future. Victoria raised her head, eyes full of hate. I will appeal. I will hire the best lawyers. Mr. Mendez closed the folder. With what money, Victoria? Your accounts were frozen this morning. Mr. Sterling left precise instructions. The car outside has been towed. The house must be vacated in 24 hours. Anna looked at Victoria. You can stay, Anna said. Everyone looked at her, surprised. Victoria stopped crying, hopeful. Really? You're going to let me stay in the mansion? Anna shook her head. Not in the mansion. There is a guest room in the gardener's cottage, out back. You can stay there until you find a job. In the gardener's cottage? Victoria screamed, offended. That place has leaks. It's tiny. Anna smiled sadly. It is better than the place where Lucas and I lived for the last 5 years when you refused to help us. It's take it or leave it. Victoria looked around. The guests, who had previously flattered her, were now looking away. They followed the money, and the money was now with the nanny. Victoria realized she was alone. She swallowed her toxic pride. I'll stay, she whispered, but only for now. Anna picked Lucas up. Let's go, son. Let's see the garden. Grandpa Bob said the flowers are yours now. They walked out of the hall, leaving the heiress sitting on the cold marble floor. The nanny and the boy, now owners of everything, walked into the sunlight. In the following months, the manor changed. Ayana fired the snobbish staff and rehired humble people who needed an opportunity. She transformed a wing of the house into a rehabilitation center for children with physical disabilities in honor of Lucas's struggle. Victoria tried to live in the gardener's cottage, but she lasted only a week. The reality of work and lack of luxury was too much for her. She fled in the middle of the night, taking some silverware she managed to steal. She was arrested 2 days later, trying to sell them at a pawn shop. Since she had no money for bail and had a record of negligence which came to light with the will, Victoria was sentenced to fulfill the community service hours her father had stipulated. It was their cleaning floors and changing diapers at the orphanage. That reality finally hit her. Meanwhile, Lucas grew up happy. He had the best schools, but Ina ensured he never lost his humility. They kept the tradition of visiting the grandfather's grave every Sunday. Lucas knew who his biological mother was, but he knew who his mother of the heart was. One day, years later, Aina received a letter from the women's prison. It was from Victoria. The handwriting was different, less arrogant. It read, I saw a photo of you two in the paper. He looks beautiful. Thank you for doing what I didn't have the courage to do. I am sorry. Aina didn't reply to the letter, but she kept it. She didn't need Victoria's validation, but she was happy to know that perhaps the grandfather's punishment had taught the spoiled daughter something. Forgiveness was possible, but trust was something that would never be recovered. This story teaches us a brutal lesson about human nature. Victoria believed that blood and a surname guaranteed everything. She thought she could discard people like objects and then retrieve them when it was convenient. She forgot that love is built day by day, not inherited. Mr. Sterling, even if late, realized that his legacy wasn't the money, but the values. He had the courage to cut off his own blood to protect innocence. He showed that a father isn't who makes the child, but who raises them. And a grandfather is who loves Ivan in secret. Anna shows us that dignity has no price. She could have sold the story to the papers. She could have blackmailed Victoria years ago. But she chose to work and love in silence. And in the end, the universe rewarded her in a way she never imagined. Often, we see arrogant people winning and ask ourselves where justice is. This story is a reminder that justice sometimes takes time, but it watches. Sowing is optional, but reaping is mandatory. Victoria sowed contempt and reaped loneliness. Never underestimate the person holding your child's hand. Never humiliate those who care for your home. These people see who you really are when the doors are closed, and one day, their testimony might be the only thing left of your life. Lucas, the boy, rejected for an imperfection, became the owner of the empire. This proves that what the world sees as a defect, God often uses as the path to a blessing. His leg never stopped him from walking toward his destiny. If this story of twists and justice touched your heart, please leave a like. Let's show the world that arrogance has an expiration date. Common love wins down below if you believe that family is who cares. Share this video with someone who needs hope today. Remember, the true heir is the one who inherits the love, not just the bank account. Thank you for watching, family. You are our greatest wealth. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.